Afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this Mummy Star webinar as part of our Cancer and Pregnancy Awareness Week 2024. If you've been following our channels this week, you'll have seen that we've been sharing our awareness message throughout the week with various stories and pointers on body awareness and staying aware of yourself through sight and touch and hearing your body. And linked into all of that, we're really delighted that we've got a session with the wonderful Sam Reynolds this lunchtime, talking all around being body aware, both postnatally and antenatally. So with no further ado, I'm going to hand over to Sam. Sam, welcome again. Not the first time you've done a session for Mummy Star. Thank you for joining us and thank you for giving your time up.
It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me. There was a quote that I found the other day. The human body has limitations. The human spirit is boundless. There is a lot in that. Our bodies are precious. There is so much that we have to look after in ourselves. And with that, body and mind are really important. So being body aware means what exactly? It can mean different things to different people. But primarily for me, it's always been about being able to tune into our senses. And one of those that we seriously underestimate is listening to our bodies. We can listen to the voices in our heads and our mind, but sometimes listening to our body is a very different situation and a whole other thing. Being really in tune with how we are physically feeling, as well as emotionally and mentally, is something that I have gotten much better at with age, and actually probably with becoming a mum as well, and also being a cancer patient. Being aware enough to feel validated in our concerns if something doesn't feel right, and being able to find a team of people around us that we can go to with whatever it is that is troubling us. So as well as that, there is this consciousness of our emotions and being present with how we feel. And in this day and age, that is not easy. Also in motherhood and as a parent, it can be really challenging as well. We get caught up in the rush of life. We can feel different stresses from various different situations and environments. And so being able to carve out time on a regular basis to really find out how we are feeling in that moment, again, physically as well as emotionally, is also going to really help us tune into being aware of changes in our bodies. And with that comes being mindful of the things that do make us feel stressed or uncomfortable, low, sluggish. It can be anything from what we're eating to certain people that might make us feel tense, or the people that really light us up and that make us feel really relaxed. And in those environments, when we are relaxed, we can become aware of other things as well and feel way more in tune and open to discussing things that we might have been holding on to, that might have been upsetting us or making us feel quite stressed, and what is normal for each of us. Again, in the rush of today and society and the culture being what it is, what is normal? We know our bodies, we know our minds. So it's really about being in tune with what we are going through in our daily environments and daily situations. So some of you may know and be aware of my background if you follow me on social media. I am an ongoing breast cancer patient, and I have had 4 diagnoses. And I can honestly say I wouldn't be doing what I am doing now if it hadn't been for my experience with breast cancer and as a cancer patient and a survivor. I have come to being a postnatal doula and working with a lot of women during recovery from not just childbirth, but also from cancer treatment and all sorts. I was diagnosed back in 2007 with hormonally estrogen receptive breast cancer. At that time, I was only 26. I had a lot of future in front of me, and I wanted a family and I wanted children. I knew something wasn't quite right when I saw puckered skin on my breast. I got through the treatment. I had a hell of a lot of support. I count myself really lucky to have had the support and the community that I did have. So I went on to have a daughter, get married. And when she was 16 months old, I went for a regular checkup, and I was not aware at all that something was amiss. And my consultant found a lump in my clavicle. So, having had breast cancer once already, then going through it the second time with a family was a completely different ballgame. And I hadn't been in tune with my body really at all. I was very much caught up with getting through each day, looking after my child. I was generally very tired anyway, and we were starting to think about a second child. I look back now and I wonder if I had been slightly more body aware, whether I would have potentially maybe brought my checkup forward, maybe asked a few more questions. After that diagnosis, I managed to make another full recovery. Had a third diagnosis when my daughter was 3, and I had a double mastectomy. And then during COVID, I had a fourth diagnosis back in the sternum, and I had surgery, and I am now on a drug called palbociclib, which is a chemotherapy drug. And in 2018, I became a postnatal doula. It took me 2 years, and 2 years later, I had a hysterectomy as a preventative surgery, and I passed my doula coursework while I was in hospital recovering. And I've not looked back since. I think because of my experience of being pregnant after a cancer diagnosis, going through all of the changes that my body went through, I realized just how vital it is to have that continuity of care, not just through the antenatal, pregnancy and birth, postnatal periods for every woman, but for anyone who is going through illness, disease, and has that recovery and post-recovery life and healing process. Being able to offer this support to women in this specialized area of any women who have been affected by cancer antenatally or postnatally is an absolute honor for me and something that I felt was desperately needed. So what is a doula? A doula is a non-medical person who can offer a woman or birthing parent practical, holistic, and emotional support. We are not midwives, we are not medically trained, but we are very much there as a non-judgmental, impartial ear for every family who are adjusting to life with a new member of the family, whether it be their first or fifth, and with whatever else is going on in their worlds. Doula support on a daily basis can be anything from sitting together on the sofa while mummy feeds, listening while she downloads, debriefs her birth. Every doula will have something different and unique to offer. Some might be specialist breastfeeding supporters and have IBCLC training so they can support with tongue ties. Others may have done postnatal massage. Others may do hypnobirthing. The list is endless. I do a lot of cooking because it's incredibly useful on a practical basis. Just making sure that the family as well as mum are really nourished. I do a lot of postnatal massage, gentle touch healing. And I will take baby and wear the baby in a sling, take them for walks, let mum have that time for herself, whether it be needing to talk or just go back to bed or to shower, organize a cupboard, sleep, catch up with a friend, have an appointment even. It's very unique to each client, and it's very organic as to what is happening on that day for every mum and every family. I've been asked a lot on social media recently how to find a doula, and Doula UK are phenomenal. There are also a couple of other networks. You go in and you can search by your area, and then you can find out, you know, what doula offers what and what might feel more appropriate for you. Every mother is different, and we all have different needs. So going back to body awareness and what is normal anyway, we're all very fully aware that our bodies are going to change a lot through pregnancy. We're growing a baby, so we are going to put on weight, and this is not a negative. I think a lot of people fear that side of things. We grow this life, and so we will have a change in our weight. So eating a balanced, colourful diet is your best way forwards with that. Eating sensibly and just keeping an eye on what feels normal for you. Likewise, our skin will change. Our hormones will be going bonkers. So we don't really know how our skin is going to react until it happens. But if you are prone to breakouts and have oily skin, then that is, you know, potentially something that could rear its head again. Do what feels right for you. If it means tweaking the routine or tweaking the skincare that you're using, get advice, speak to a dermatologist. Organic rosehip oil can be really, really good after a bath, after a shower, massaging yourself in those areas that might feel concerning to you. And when you do that and you're standing in the mirror and you're looking at your body, just get curious. See how else it's changing. See if there are any dimples or any marks that are new or that don't look normal. Use that time for yourself to explore and to get curious and to embrace your changing body. At the end of the day, there are a lot of changes going on, but when you're growing a baby and recovering from having a baby, these changes have made you a mother, and they are worth your time and worth your curiosity. Don't be scared of your body. I think that's a really good thing to kind of think about on a deeper level. What's holding us back from looking at our bodies in a kind way? Our hair is going to change as well because of the hormones. It might become a lot thicker during the pregnancy and maybe a bit coarser, but actually postnatally it will start falling out. And I do know from personal experience how scary that can be. If you have had health issues in the run up to starting a family and having a baby, I have spoken to a lot of women who have found that side of the changes in our body post pregnancy and birth quite alarming. It will be different for everybody. It usually starts happening a couple of months postnatally. It can happen before and it can happen later, but that is normal. If you feel it is way more than feels right for you, check it out. Head massage can be really helpful for that, and actually asking your partner just to kind of rub your head especially if you're feeling tired. It can be a really lovely release. And, if it does start falling out postnatally, which invariably it will to some extent, it will grow back. And if you want to help stimulate that growth, obviously head massage can be really helpful for that too. Our gut is our third brain, and there is more and more information out there at the moment about that. Ever since I've had chemo, I have had issues with my gut. And so actually for me, my gut normal is not great. During childbirth, if we have a C-section, if we have epidurals, those drugs can really affect the gut bio. And any sort of stress and anxiety at any point can really affect it too. So I really recommend probiotics. GPs can be really helpful. It can be really helpful to talk through what things you can do to help support your gut through that process. Our parasympathetic and nervous system is also a huge area that is being more widely discussed now. It's all around the anxiety, it's all around stress, and pregnancy, cancer, postnatal situations can often really spike our adrenaline. Childbirth itself is obviously all about fight and flight. And if you explore a hypnobirthing course or do a one-to-one with a hypnobirthing company, you will learn a lot about that and how the hormones work during labor, as well as the later stages of pregnancy. With any stress and anxiety, meditation, relaxation techniques, talking therapies, nature, being grounded can all help. And a really useful exercise for that as well is tuning again into our senses. If we're having a bit of a panic, if we're feeling overwhelmed, what can we see? What can we hear? What can we taste? What can we touch? Just bringing it back for a couple of minutes to where we're at in that minute, engaging with ourselves. What are we feeling on a physical level? What are we feeling on an emotional level? Where are we? Are we in a stressful environment? Can we remove ourselves? It's looking at our options and being aware of those options and knowing that we always have choices, always have choices. And again, knowing that we have a right, that we are allowed to choose. And so that brings me to connection and having that time to connect with ourselves. It doesn't have to be another daily to-do. And I think, again, in this day and age, we are so overwhelmed with the to-do list. What could be quite important to have in that list is, I've checked in with myself today, even if it's only once. You have had a moment where you have engaged with how you are feeling on a physical level and on an emotional level. And so these are all things that we can validate in our own selves. But if it feels off, know that it's okay to vocalize that, to talk to somebody about it. And keeping that mental list, or even a list in a notebook of anything that does feel like it's changing for you, keep it in mind and just observe. There's a lot to say about mindfulness and meditation. I, for one, can't bear sitting in a quiet room. I have other ways of trying to reconnect with myself, and that is yoga, walking outside. Everyone is different, and different things are going to work for different people. And there are loads of things we can do practically during a pregnancy, during the postpartum. You know what you like. So if it brings you joy and it makes you feel good, keep doing it. Pregnancy is a time where we can switch up what we already love and make it ongoing so that we can still love it even with our babies, and have that time to reconnect with ourselves, bring those oxytocin levels back up again, and really relax and engage with how we're doing. So, for instance, if you have a yoga practice, that it can be an awesome way of checking in with yourselves. And then when baby arrives, you can keep doing it with baby yoga. You're going to feel different when you've been recovering from childbirth and labor. Things are going to be potentially more tight, more stiff. You're going to be tired. But there are so many options with that. It's about being able to drop in to those areas and really become conscious of what is different and why it might be different. Breath work. If you have a breathing practice already, when baby arrives, you can walk in nature with baby in the sling. You can still walk barefoot on the grass. You can use those opportunities to really tune back in with your body and mind again. Baby massage, healing massage. You can receive and you can give with baby. You can learn techniques to practice on yourself as well. It's about touch. It's tuning back into those senses again. It's about listening, getting quiet, finding those times where you can engage and doing it at the right time of day for you as well. When are you going to be less stressed to do a bit of light touch on yourself? Maybe just lie on the bed after a bath, on the bed or the sofa, feeding bottle or breast, skin to skin, so that the oxytocin flows. And honestly, the closeness, the bonding, and the time to just settle and really feel yourself and how your body is responding to all of this stimulus that is coming with being a new mother is beautiful. And writing can be absolutely brilliant. If it feels useful and it's a practice that you're used to doing, write it down, really try and tune in and find the words to describe how you're feeling. And you've got then a record of it. Taking photographs, sticking them in your journals, especially as the bump grows, you can then become really aware of your body again and your image, like we were talking about earlier. Are you noticing any other changes? Your skin tone, is that changing? The stretch marks, scarring, varicose veins, all of those things that will invariably come up, but you have a record and you can stay in tune with it in that way. And actually, that's something that is so beautiful and precious to keep as well. So much of this, as I keep saying, is about tuning in with our senses. And when we have a baby in those early days, early months, baby sensory classes are phenomenal for keeping that engagement with our senses and being able to incorporate it into our baby days and our postnatal journey in that first year. It's all about regulating ourselves, and once baby comes along, regulating ourselves with baby, staying aware of the obvious changes and the not so obvious changes, and keeping a record of those. With this sort of regular self check-in, what are some of the questions that you can ask yourself every day or once a week, or when you feel engaged enough? How is your body feeling? What is one thing you could do for yourself today to help you feel more engaged with your body, to help bring you down and feel grounded? Is there anything in the background that's going on? Be conscious of those family situations. of the environments that you're in, what else is going on around you. What are you feeling more sensitive towards? I know a lot of new parents can feel really oversensitive to noise once they've had a baby. And actually, when a baby cries, it can completely throw them. But knowing if you're overthinking things or if you're not being able to wind down at night, if your mind is racing, if you're feeling consistently anxious, these things to look out for are actually physically being able to talk about them sometimes can be really, really hard. So what I'm going to move on to next is the importance of building that tribe that you can engage with, that you do feel comfortable talking to them, who you can trust, who is in your support network. There are going to be certain people you're going to feel comfortable talking to about different things. And that's what can be really useful to think about as well. Who is in your support network? Who do you trust? Who can you go to and speak to? Whose opinion and response and advice do you really value? It's all about feeling comfortable and nurtured and safe. And safety is paramount to recovery and to being in tune with ourselves. If we are in a safe environment, our adrenaline will drop. We feel looked after. We feel able to express more honestly and accurately how we're feeling. It could be any number of these on this list, even down to your hairdresser. I think having somebody that you can really talk to, whether you know them very well or they're a friend of a friend or something like that, can just be useful. And your relationship with your GP and your practice is also really important through pregnancy, through the postnatal period. If you don't have a good vibe with these medical practitioners, you must speak up. It is so important, and there is so much more support, other supportive and professional people as well as groups. Being able to tap into this network is invaluable. It can feel overwhelming sometimes, but I would always just say, look around in your area, what is available. And I think most people are very surprised. So the next slide kind of speaks for itself. No one knows your body as well as you do. If something feels off, ask questions, get curious, speak to people. Build your support network with those that you trust and who can support you on all these different levels and in all these areas. Not one person will have the answers or will be able to help and support you with everything. Find those key people and lean on them, use them. That's what they're there for. Pregnancy and childbirth can leave you feeling added to or like you've lost something. And it takes a lot to engage with that awareness where you can include you and your body. Where is your body at? Do you feel small today or do you feel really big? Massage can really help with connecting you with your body. Never make assumptions. And I should have also said, never use Dr. Google either. He's not a very helpful man, and it really is not advised. Keep track of your own needs as well as babies. Make yourself a priority. Be aware of the small things making a big difference. Lots of small moments, lots of times a day is key, especially postnatally. Don't correct yourself. Feel yourself. Feel yourself physically, feel yourself emotionally. Have that time. It shouldn't be another thing to do on the to-do list. So as much as you can to incorporate it in your day is really important. And that acceptance and adjustment to your body changing and to know who you can lean on to support you through it. So if you do just want to take a few minutes with me now for this visualization, it's just an opportunity to calm the mind a bit and get comfy and just tune in a little bit with that breath, which can really help anchor and ground you in these moments of this busy day. And while we're here in this quiet moment, ask yourself those questions. How are you feeling? And listen to what the reply might be in your head. Acknowledge it and let it go. And take your attention to your inhale. And while you inhale, imagine breathing in this clean and clear oxygen like a warm light. It's filling your lungs and spreading around your body. Right here, right now. And while you breathe out, exhale for as long as you can, imagining all of the stale air and negativity leaving your body. You are being in this space now. Notice your body relaxing. Your body is the journey. It is where you began. You are here, rooted, grounded, neutral. And in the next breath, turn your awareness to your foundations. Where you are sitting or lying, become conscious of the areas and the points of your body touching and connecting to the ground below you. The earth is holding you. Surrender and feel your weight sinking down a little more. You are the earth from which all things grow. You're here. You are alive. You are rooted. You are grounded. And as you slowly shift your focus back to your body, notice if you feel any aches or pains, sensations or stiffness. Gently acknowledge them, loosening these areas until you feel a little more ease. Consciously breathe into them. And as you do, thank them for supporting you. Notice your body as home for your mind. Wherever the mind goes, the body stays grounded. And now move your consciousness to your feet. Imagine they are the roots of your body, drawing awareness up from the ground, spreading up your ankles and calves. Notice any heaviness in these areas and just acknowledge them and thank them. And follow this energy up to your knees, warmth spreading around the joints. Visualize any stiffness melting away. And this energy now moves up your legs, thighs, hips, pelvis. Thank these areas so much for working so hard to support you. And let the energy flow through them. Now to the base of your spine, feeling any tension. Breathing into it all again. And as you move up the back and up the spine, move your awareness to the base of your neck. Relax and ease these muscles. Wiggle your jaw around. Move your head to release any clicks and tension. And now imagine this soft healing light traveling from the base of your neck to the bottom of your spine. See this light being drawn down into the ground below you like an anchor. The light at the top of the spine keeps traveling upwards through your head, up above, feeling the connection between the sky and the ground. You are connected. You are one, solid, grounded. Notice any tingling or warming sensations as your body feels this connection. And take this energy into your shoulders, watching the light move down your arms into your fingers and your hands. Notice any movement. And if it feels right for you now, take your thumb from one hand and place it in the center of the palm of the other hand and just gently massage in place. Notice any sensations, any release or tenderness as you slowly show yourself this gentle touch, thanking your hands for everything they do every day. Swapping your hands over when you're ready. And now notice your throat area. Feel the warmth of awareness, the light traveling down into your chest, into your stomach, your digestive pattern. And as you relax, can you hear any bubbles or noises? Relax your facial muscles. If it helps to squeeze your eyes shut and then release. Tense the face and let it go. And finally, shift your consciousness to your brain. Just become aware now of how amazing and powerful your brain is. It is capable of regulating your entire body. It is home to your mind, allowing you to think, feel, and create. No one knows your body or mind as well as you. And thank your body now, every muscle, every bone, all of it, for working every minute of every day, even while you're sleeping, for functioning, processing, thinking, growing, healing, and recovering. Show yourself some love. And let's end by giving ourselves a big hug. And when you're ready, wiggle your fingers Move your neck and your head from side to side. Open your eyes if they were closed. And come back.